Hey you guys, welcome to Melissa Valentine's Nursery. My name is Melissa, and today we're here with one of the beautiful bunkas. One of the beautiful bunkas. This is Melissa. I named her Melissa because she was a silicone, and I've always wanted an authentic silicone. She is partial body. So I named her after me because it was an expensive doll. And she is what is she? She's the Presley Sculpt by Natalie Fakebridge by Precious Reborns Nursery. Precious One's Nursery. And so today, this is going to be a little different. I wanted to, some of my videos, there's different levels of entertainment on them. Little different levels here and there. And this one's more educational. I was doing some research on Reborns, to be honest. And I came across something from Psychology Today. And I wanted to discuss that with you. So today we are going to do that. And we're going to have a seat and we're going to chat about it. So as you all know, I am always on a quest to learn. Always. So I was doing a little reborn research, and I came across a few things. The mind is a fascinating thing. The mind is very fascinating. And I would lie if I didn't say that, psychology is not fascinating. Although it's not my field, it is a very fascinating field. It's a fascinating thing. So I was doing my little search, and I was reading Psychology Today, and there was an article on there by Shirley M. Mueller. She is a doctor. I'm probably a doctor of psychology. I'm not 100% sure, but I would think, you know what I'm saying? So she wrote about the study, now this has to do with reborns. There was a study done by two researchers, right? I'm over here admiring my little bunka. And you guys know Capri, Little Missy, and Gretel back there. But I want all my babies to have a lot of screen time. So two researchers did this study, okay? And they divided their subjects by giving questionnaires versus lab observations. And these two groups, they were examining reasons for adult doll collectors, like the reasons they are in this hobby. Okay. And what they found they were looking for key, key features about the doll collecting, right? Why? What can we conclude from this study? Okay. And what they found was in both of the subjects that were being tested with just the questionnaire one and one that was being observed in a lab observation, they found out there was two groups within doll collectors. This is what they found. They found out now I don't want anybody getting offended by this. I don't want anybody. This is purely educational. Okay. So if you love to learn, continue. If you feel like you're going to get triggered or something, please step away. We don't want to do that. I want the dolls to be a happy thing for us and something that we enjoy. So what they found was there was two groups of type of doll collectors, right? You had your insecure versus your secure people with their mentality. Okay. So in the insecure group, these people, this sense of self was insecure. This is what it was, a sense of self. They had a lot of self-doubt and unstable identity. And I'm thinking that's maybe where some of our hobbyists, the ones that like are in the hobby, the certain ones that have like, we have depression and anxiety, and I'm one of them. So maybe self-doubt and unstable identity. Now, mind you, this is a study. I'm not persecuting anybody. I've said that before. And I'm not labeling anybody. This is something that I've read. I'm just reiterating it. I'm just, telling you about it. So in this study, the insecure people with the insecure sense of self, they had self-doubt and unstable identity. So they found that their collecting and their playing in this hobby, it resolves internal tensions for them. And it helps them engage in self-therapy. And that is something that we have found. I got to be careful because her hair is rooted and she's silicone. That is something that we have found within the hobby. It helps people with therapy. This is stuff we already know. These dolls were used, they found out, for healing. And we know that. This is a study done, okay? So I believe, that would be the people who are really suffering emotionally, maybe with grief, loss and grief, maybe depression, okay? Then you have people who have they're never going to be able, they're grieving the fact that they will never be able to have children, right? So this helps them. And then they found out you have the people in this hobby, the second group. These were the secure people with their sense of self. They recognize their strengths and they have a higher tolerance for negative life events. Now, I feel you may have people who have depression and anxiety who may fall into this because their coping mechanisms may be better. Who knows? I don't know. I'm no psychologist. You know what I'm saying? This is just discussion, purely discussion. Okay. So these people, they recognize their strengths. They have a higher tolerance for BS, basically. Okay. Their doll collecting and doll play is more for creativity versus the other ones that was more for self-therapy. Now, I do find myself with these little bunkas that, the security of holding them and cuddling with them, that does give us a sense of, oh my God, my dog, security, right? I think it does that for anybody. But then there's the creativity aspect where your freedom of expression is. And, we dress our dolls, we play with them. So you got two different types of immersion. You got the one for creativity and self-expression. And then you have the one where it's for your healing and your therapy. Okay. So I wrote here that the researchers emphasize the connection between the collector and the doll depends on what the doll represents. So they looked at these people in the study and they seen the subjects in both sides of the study, right? They had the questionnaire with the questionnaires, and then they had a lab, right, where they watched people play. They probably answered questions. It didn't show you the questions, but it was probably how do you interact with your doll? Do you do this? Do you do that? And then they actually visually watched in the lab people play with their dolls. And I'm sure they had backgrounds on these subjects, to go deeper. But what they said was they seen what the connection between the collector and the doll depends on what the doll represents to that collector. Right? But it wasn't the doll itself. It was what it represents. So for each of us, what do our dolls represent to us? My dolls represent like a certain security, like cuddling. You can look at them and they're so cute. They represent a certain happiness. They're they don't talk back to you. They're not gonna whatever, I can feel peace with them, a certain peace where I can just sit with them, look at them, and feel just my heart be happy, right? So it's not necessarily the doll itself, it's what the doll represents. What do we need maybe in life, right? And this is all speculation. This is all just discussion because I'm into stuff like this, okay? So for instance, here's an example. If the person in the hobby, right, is interested in fashion, okay, maybe they express that through dressing the dolls, right? So the doll could be symbolic of what she thinks, the collector thinks, of what a well-dressed woman who is confident may dress, right? So we're playing out our realities. Sigmund Freud, he would say He was if you don't know Sigmund Freud, he is a famous psychologist in history. And he would say that we, in our dreams, were living out our desires in our dreams, right? This is all, psychology stuff, right? Okay. So what they're saying is, let's say, we want, the common thing is we want someone to love us. We want someone to give us that love and security. So what we're going to do is the doll represents that. If we are not getting that, we're going to find it from somewhere. So it may not be that, it's the doll itself. Now, mind you, some may just collect for the dolls. And I feel like a lot of that is your collectors who put their dolls away in glass cases. My grandma used to do that. My grandma was the collector where she had like china cabinet, so to speak, and she put her dolls in the china cabinet, sat them around in cabinets and stuff, and she admired them for what they are. Okay. But there's a lot of us in the hobby that the babies are symbolic for something that maybe we're lacking. Right. And I feel like that could work for both sets of people. The people with the insecure sense of self and the people with the secure sense of self, that they had found those two groups in this study. Right. So it may not be so much for us, the doll itself. Yes, they're cute. Yes, we do like the dolls themselves, but it may be deeper to where the doll represents something that we don't have. And that fashion example was, something that, the article, that was the example the article gave. So like, I thought that was amazing because a lot of people love fashion and maybe they don't go out. Maybe they have social phobias and they're scared to go out, but they love fashion. So they do it with their babies. They express it with their babies. And I think that's what maybe sort of kind of what it's saying in a way. That's another example of me putting it that way. So, I'm always on a quest for learning. I'm on a quest, I find myself, I love the babies and stuff and I love to learn. But I also love to take my interest and take it a deep step further and Google some things. Maybe I was actually looking, to be honest, I was actually looking for real studies, reputable studies from real reputable sources regarding reborns. That's what I was doing one day. And I came across an article from Psychology Today. That article was actually written, it was relatively recent because today is June 3rd, 2024. So this was actually a year ago, July 11th, 2023. So it's a relatively new article. And I know Psychology Today would not post a study that was 20 years old. They won't, because a lot of the sciences, when they post studies, they have to be relatively recent. I don't know what it is anymore, within the last 6 years or 4 years, something like that. I know 2 years is like very important within the 2 years. But I just thought that was amazing and interesting. So do you play out your desires? What does your dolls represent to you? Do you want to mother a baby again? Like, do you want to nurture? Is that what you're doing with the babies? Maybe you want to go out with the babies and you love the attention. The dolls represent a way to, like men, we used to, I don't know, on TV and the media, they say, men use kids to pick up women. I don't find that true. But what I'm saying is, they'll say a lot of sitcoms and stuff will, I don't know. I've seen that in the past a lot. I don't know how true it is. It's not true for me. But, what does your dolls represent to you? And what do you think of that? I could not find a lot of studies about reborns. And, I'm into academia, much less than I used to be. But I just thought I would share this with you guys. I know it's not a long video, but that was worth something for me. And I know there's like-minded viewers who like to think and stretch their mind. So I got on here and figured that I would do a video on this. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you fall under? Do you fall under the sense of self that's insecure, or do you fall under the sense of self of security? I feel like I have a little bit of both. when we go through life events, sometimes our sense of self gets distorted. And sometimes we do need therapy to fix that or to heal, right? Because healing doesn't happen overnight and it takes time. But then I also feel like there's some portion of a secure sense of self, right? And we play out our creativity in the dolls. And like I said, some of us just look at the dolls. My friend Sandra, she says her Reborn specifically, she looks at them. She may pick them up, hold them for a second, put them down, and that's it. But her toddlers, she finds joy in them. You know, so she actually physically plays with them and whatever. I hold my Reborns more than anything. For the weight, I like the weight on my body when I'm watching TV, and that if I do, I may take one to bed and have it next to me. But if it's like a replica, like she's my only replica, that's vinyl. So I could take her to bed, hold her, whatever. And my, Ashton Drake Lila, I could take her to bed. It doesn't bother me to hold her, hug her, whatever. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I thought this was something quick and interesting. And, you know, let me know what you think. All right, you guys, like, subscribe, comment, leave a, not just a comment, leave a, okay. Hit the alert bell so you know my videos are coming out. And don't be scared to share the videos because we're here to help each other and love one another and be there for one another. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Till next time. Bye, you guys.